Well, good morning, class. Welcome. Thank you for stopping by to this short session on objectives and key results. Now, the syllabus, if you read it, tells you that it'd be good to have a little bit of an understanding of what I'm about to talk about before we get into it, because I'm just going to do a high-level flyover. Okay? Now, you have a question in the back there. Okay, you were just scratching your head. Sorry. Don't ever go to an auction, because you might come home with a pig by mistake. Okay, great. Now, let's move on. First, I want to give you some better people who will explain this concept to you. Now, this is my good friend from South America, Felipe Castro. Yes, now that's what Felipe looks like. I want you to Google him and type in objectives and key results, because he does a fantastic job talking about it. Again, Felipe Castro. That's what Felipe looks like when you're out of cyan and low on magenta, as I am on my printer. But otherwise, fine looking fella in real life. Castro, that's right, yeah. No, not that I know of. No relation to Julian or Fidel or the Castro GTX family who make the motor oil. Are you laughing over there? Oh, okay. I'll fix that for next time. Okay, another friend of mine I want to introduce you to is this guy here, John Doerr. Measure what matters. Now, I'm a little jealous of his last name because he's a man of action, it sounds like. Another name I want to bring to your attention is this very shy man here from the band U2, and he talks about how OKRs have helped him on a lot of the work he's done. And if you listen to the audio, he talks, which is a novel thing to hear Bono talk. That too is a joke. It's too late. Too late laughing now. Okay, I'm going to get into it at a high level, objectives and key results. First of all, the first thing I want to say is objectives and key results are easy in theory, but hard in practice. Now write that down, and make sure you reference me. Easy in theory, hard in practice. When I've worked with people, here's what they do. They go straight from an objective into an activity. And that is problematic. So let me just talk a little bit about what we're after here. An objective, of course, is, well, let's go straight to my example, if we will, for next year. My objective for next year is to get healthy in 2022. We'll see. It may be, it may not be. That's a common one. A lot of us start the new year with a hangover, maybe. And we have this, I have to have an objective to get healthy. And then what do? We sign up at the gym in January. And if I was to look at data from gyms, from talking to people who own gyms and go to gyms, you'd see a big spike and then it trails off. And I'm convinced that happens because all we had was the objective. We did not have key results specified beforehand. And I think that is the gold mine. So let me express what key results could look like. Here's one. Lower cholesterol from X to Y. From whatever number it is today to a future number that you would lower cholesterol by. Now, before I move any further, I want to talk about how do we measure a key result is good. We use that whole thing called SMART. Does anyone know what the S stands for in SMART? The S stands for SMART. Oh, that's very funny. No, it's not small. Specific. Very good. Very good. I heard you also. Specific. It's got to be specific. It's got to be measurable, which it is in this case. It's got to be achievable. Can you really lower from this number to this number in the time you state? And I want to jump to T because it's time bound. So if you say you want to lower from X to Y in 2022, is that achievable? Or if you want to do that lowering in the first quarter, is that achievable? And then just realistic. Is it really realistic to make this happen? What often happens is people come up with too many key results and they're just not achievable or realistic. So just come up with a few key results per your objective. Let's look at one more here. Reduce waistline from X to Y. Is it achievable? Well, we don't know. Is it measurable? It is. We have some numbers on it. Here's another one that might get at it. And let me write this down. I'm going to go to the gym 5 times a week. Is that a key result? I'm going to go to the gym 5 times a week. No, it's not. It's an activity. And that's where we get stuck on activities. The difference between an activity and a key result. You see, if I go to the gym 5 times a week, but I'm eating donuts, this may not change. This may get worse. So be careful of going straight to activities. Write these first, your key results of what you're hoping to achieve or how you will measure this objective. And if you do that next, you will then be able to start writing your activities. And remember, when you're doing your activities, what you're ultimately doing is trying to manipulate a system to respond the way you want it to. In this case, the system is my body. In your case, the system is your organization you're part of. You will do these activities, and you will hope that they manipulate the system to respond in the way you want it to respond. And it's a bit trickier than you might think. Now, anyone here ever done test-driven development? Anyone? I've never done it, but I've heard it can be tricky for the same reasons. See, when you're doing test-driven development, often you're given an objective of what you want to do. And before you actually write the code, you write the test case that needs to be passed. You kind of begin with the end in mind and say, for this code to be successful, it needs to pass these test cases. And often when you write the test cases, they fail because there's no code making them pass. And I think it's very similar. I think it's just a bit of a switch of a paradigm in our brains to skip the activity at first and go straight to build what the end needs to look like and what success looks like. I just don't think we're wired that way. We want to get straight into activity. So if you go through this with some friends, just always ask yourself the question, am I moving to activity too fast before I really determine what the end looks like? That's it. That's the briefest OKR you're ever going to hear. Okay, are there any questions? I do not have a joke. No. That other guy, okay. Let's address that right now before I end. Yes, we're related. Yes, we are related. He's my twin brother. I've heard he does these pub things, and it makes sense. He lives in the pub, so it makes sense that he would just turn the video camera on from where he dwells all the time. Yes. Not too close. No, we're not that close. No. Because he's not serious. I'm serious. He's not. He's not serious enough. Well, I'm glad you enjoy him. Great. Thank you. No, I will not. No, there will be no joke at the end of this. Thank you so much.